Yes.
Welcome to the Oracle Developer Meetup. Happy New Year and a great start in 2020. With me are Sanae and Robert. Good afternoon, Sanae.
Good afternoon, Jürgen.
Hi, Robert. How are you?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Today's topic will be about Oracle blockchain, and we will record the webcast, so you can also watch the on-demand version. Please post your questions in the Q&A section, and if you would like to attend additional meetups, please visit developercommunity.blog/meetups. Thanks for attending, and with that short introduction, over to you, Sanae.
Thanks, Jürgen. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to our first Oracle virtual meetup. Today, we will discover Oracle blockchain platform through the eyes of COZMO by implementing the D-check, the heavy maintenance visit check of aircrafts. For people that don't know who's COZMO,
Yeah.
COZMO is our intelligent mini robot. But first, let me present myself. My name is Sanae Bekkar. I'm Oracle PaaS Associate. I'm Oracle Architect, Middleware, and OIC specialist with EasyTeam, Oracle Platinum Partner in France. I'm co-organizer of our group meetup, Oracle Developer Meetup France, with Jürgen. I write multiple posts about Oracle Cloud Solution on my company blog, easyteam.fr, and my personal blog, sanaebekkar.wordpress.com. With us today, our blockchain expert, Robert van Mölken, groundbreaker ambassador, expert blockchain IoT cloud apps application with AMIS, Oracle Platinum Partner in Netherlands. He's author of 2 Oracle books. The first one, Implementing Oracle Integration Cloud Service, where you find all information to how ICS can be used to effectively implement integration that work both in the cloud and on the premise. And second book, The Blockchain Across Oracle, which gives you the professional orientation to blockchain that you need as an Oracle developer in today's changing world. The agenda of our webcast cover the following topic. The first one, what is blockchain and how to run in the Oracle Cloud. We discover the business case, the planning the D-check of an aircraft by Roberts. How to implement the D-check on the Oracle Cloud. And finally, the demo, the heavy aircraft maintenance and spare parts tracking using our intelligent mini robot COZMO. What is blockchain? It's a digital system of recording transactions of assets in a list that is replicated across available nodes in the network, rather than being stored in a central data store like the traditional databases. The ledger records all transactions that are submitted to the blockchain. It holds the raw data part of the transaction and some information on the node or participant that submitted the transaction. The more involved blockchains also keep a separated key value database with the current state of an asset. And the data is distributed to all nodes in a truthless manner using a decentralized peer-to-peer protocol in near real time. It uses a combination of digital signatures and cryptography to prove your identity and authenticity, and to enforce read writes and execute permission access rights. This makes it possible to permit write access to certain to certain participants and read access to certain participant or audience, for example, everybody. And each node individually process and verify every transaction redundantly, bundles the verified transactions into a block and broadcast them to all other nodes in the network. Using a consensus mechanism, the block of transaction is validated by other nodes in which the majority has to prove the block before it becomes final and is added to the blockchain. Run a blockchain on the Oracle Cloud. Oracle Blockchain Cloud Service is a distributed ledger cloud platform that is pre-assembled and aims to be production-ready, highly secure, cost-effective, and scalable. It's designed to be designer-friendly, can integrate with existing enterprise applications, and interact with other blockchain networks. The question that you can ask me, what differentiates the Oracle Blockchain Cloud Service from the other platforms? What differentiates the Oracle Blockchain Cloud Service from the other platforms is that not require any assembly to build a trusted network. It comes with a set of infrastructure and embedded resources such as compute, virtual machine, containers, storage, identity management, and event streaming, so that you can quickly set up and run your production-ready blockchain. And now, Robert will present for us our aviation business case, the D-check, the heavy maintenance check of the aircrafts. To you, Robert.
Yeah, thank you very much, Senna, for this introduction on blockchain. Yeah, I will continue with the business use case and also how we get some implementation on that. So let's look at how a D-check, what a D-check is, how it's planned, and how it's used using blockchain. So if you look at airlines and how they try to influence the success, is one thing is based on cost. Other thing is that the success also is determined by the maintenance of its aircraft and how long they can fly. And only when the fleet in total is technically in excellent state of care, so all the things work perfectly, they can run on a punctual time, and they can be profitable because the airplanes fly a lot more. They can do a lot more flights, and passengers can go multiple times where they want to go. So let's look at the use case. So let's begin to explain to you what a D-check is. So a D-check is the most heavy maintenance check that's done on an airplane. And yeah, so it's the most comprehensive and also demanding check that happens on an airplane. A D-check, so you have an A, B, C, and a D-check. A D-check occurs approximately every 6 to 10 years. And it takes around 4 to 8 weeks. Depends on the size of the airplane, but also on the things they want to really strip down. And it takes around 30 to 50,000 man hours of labor. So you can understand this is not something you do on a regular thing. Because the entire airplane is nearly taken apart for inspection and overhaul. And even they sometimes strip the paint of an airplane. So in this case, every part that's stripped is examined if it needs to go to repair. The repair is usually done in the own workshops of the airline that uses the airplane. They have a hangar, or they use, for example, in the Netherlands we have a very big maintenance hangar. But one airplane can take up a whole maintenance deck. So if you have a few of these checks at once, yeah, you can't repair other airplanes. So we want to show this by using blockchain to track the aircraft parts. And with this, we can plan and perform a better D-check maintenance and speed it up a little bit. And for this use case, the picture at the right side, you see a 787 Dreamliner and the structure of all its components and its suppliers. And to ensure the accurate tracking of these spare parts and the whereabouts, if it's in the warehouse of the airline, is it at the manufacturer itself, various technologies where we use COZMO, it's a little bit of IoT, but also such things as blockchain can be used in conjunction with, for example, an enterprise database to optimize the business processes. In this case, tracking is very important because it gives ourselves end-to-end visibility on the life cycle of a part. When did it came from? How old is it? Is it stored somewhere? Is it repaired? Is it maybe even decommissioned? Is it? Are we able to reuse the part again? And on what time? And if not, maybe which other components are there to be used instead? And if maybe we need to go to a different supplier, or we need to go to a different airline to get that part. So if we look at it in a way of a process, in our use case, what we want to show you is that the D-check is performed, and the maintenance guy is working on it, and he had removed the left engine, and in this case he used his tablet, which runs a web application, and he enters in, okay, this is the part number, which is ready for maintenance. Through an API call, we say to our intelligent transportation robot, pick it up at the airplane on the deck, and move it to the storage. And what we want to record every time in the blockchain is what's the location of the spare part, so we can retrieve it easily. So we can say to the intelligent robot, yeah, pick up this part. So we record the location of the part, and we can also return a new part or the same part. This determines what happens is in the next section is that in the storage there's a person that initially checks the part, and then it can be sent even to the repair shop. And in the repair shop there are two outcomes at this point. One is that if it can't be used, can't be repaired, then it may be decommissioned, and when it's repaired, the part is sent back to the storage. So in this case, the repair shop can be the one, for example, with the engine from Rolls-Royce, which can be in a different country. So now we use, of course, the intelligent robot is nearby, but it can also be, of course, a different location. Have a sensor somewhere, or a track and trace in a different location. If it's sent back, the robot, then it has the outcome also from the storage to get back to the airplane again. So this little use case, I want to show you how easily, and we go to all the components we use, and also show the demo easily how we set up the block within the blockchain and the front end and all the communication with the robot. I'm going to show that in this presentation. So let's look how to implement the G-check in combination with the track and trace. So we have some the architect. I go to the architecture and also to the solution. This is our device side of the architecture. So this is the side of COZMO. It really looks like that. Also, mine is also red, and we communicate with it through to a wireless connection. You're running an app right now. Of course, in this demo is with COZMO. You need to have a SDK. There's also another intelligent robot that the Vector, which can communicate on the public internet, but we don't have that at us right now. And with the communication of an SDK and some Python code, we communicate with the robot and have set up a tunnel. And in the cloud, we have some components. The most important things that I will go to is Visual Builder, blockchain platform, and autonomous data warehouse a little bit. And besides that, we have two other cloud services here, Analytics Cloud and API, the new API gateway. And in this case, in our autonomous data warehouse, we have stored like all the information from the parts that are available. And we have, you know, the type, the part, and also information like manufacturer, for example. So it's the master data, which you can find usually in a PIM system. Visual Builder is the one that is used by the maintenance person, where we can interact with all the things, and the calls are done through the tunnel. In this case too, with API gateway, and then it returns an answer, and with the answer it returns to Visual Builder, and the call is done to the blockchain platform, the location of it, and it registers some information on the blockchain, like the XYZ and also the object ID and things like that. This is automatically pushes to autonomous data warehouse, so you can couple blockchain platform directly to the autonomous data warehouse. So now we have the PIN information and the information from the blockchain together. And this data is combined and Analytics Cloud reads on these things. In this use case, we're just focusing on Visual Builder, blockchain platform, and autonomous data warehouse. Blockchain platform cloud service. This is the managed PaaS service of Oracle, which is built on top of the open source Hyperledger Fabric. It runs on cloud infrastructure as a PaaS service, so as platform service. And what Sanae mentioned, it's a pre-assembled everything. So if you start it, you don't have to set all the things up, because blockchain can be very difficult, a lot of moving components. And with this, on top of the open source Hyperledger Fabric, they built easy integration through REST APIs. They made a very well UI. We will see that to manage everything. And we also have enterprise adapters. So, for example, ERP can connect through Integration Cloud. With the blockchain. That all happens using smart contracts, which can be built in Go, Node.js, and Java, and it contains all the things for the distributed ledger, the consensus mechanism, which is used Kafka, and with it's Hyperledger Fabric is a permission blockchain, which means you can define a level of confidentiality, like using channels, but also private collections of data. In underground, it uses Hyperledger Fabric is all container based, so this is picked up, and all the components that's added in the blockchain platform is also running on containers. using events and all the things. But don't think that you can't connect it. It's only Oracle based. No. So besides the Oracle SaaS solutions, we can connect through OIC, for example. We can, of course, use the SDK to connect our own custom cloud apps. If you already have an organization or a network running on a different Hyperledger data center, you can also connect those third-party Fabric peers. And Oracle also offers the on-premise enterprise edition of the blockchain platform. So if you want to try it yourself and you have an e-delivery account, you can download the enterprise edition and download it yourself to get started. So why did we choose blockchain platform and not just Hyperledger Fabric? Is that besides Fabric, all the things are connected. So if I provision an environment, it takes around 5 to 10 minutes, and it's all pre-assembled. So this means that I get a nice UI, all the certificate authorities and all the things you see here are provisioned. And the minute we have some REST proxies and operational APIs, so you can also even create your own UI on top of the information on the blockchain. And we have a nice admin console. We can even talk to or query the data using the smart contracts using SQL-based bridge queries. What I mentioned, you can also connect it to the data warehouse, and this gives us a rich history database for where we can do analytics and BIs on all the transactions happening. If a new version comes out for Hyperledger, the cloud service is updated, so we have automated DevOps on those things. And if we want to have extra nodes, we want to get bigger, or you want to have extra messages, it's all flexible and upgradable. With the blockchain platform, you are paying by transaction. So if you use a lot and the ways of nodes, there's a little bit optimization what you can do there. Maybe go to multiple message packs or different peers. That's something you should look at if you start with this. There's but the cost is for per transaction bundle, like also Integration Cloud now uses. So then we have the data warehouse. With this, we have some machine learning underwater. So for the analytics part, it runs it can run 18C, but also 19C in preview. So if you now want to preview, you can do it also with database 19C. And it can also define anomalies and things like that. So that's good for analytics. So why autonomous data warehouse then here? What I already mentioned. We get all the things like what we have in autonomous database, but also the capabilities of the data warehousing. And why then autonomous one and not on-premise or a different database is setting up this with a lot of parties, getting all the businesses together, and also making the tracking system costs a lot of resources. So where we don't have to spend it on this, okay, that's easy, right? For this is also because the track and trace is very important. It wouldn't be good if we have downtime. So we want to have also the data recovery and stuff like that there in place for us. As you saw in the image, we use also Visual Builder Cloud Service, or you saw the UI, but we use Visual Builder Cloud Service for this. With this, we can easily make the UI with which is what you get, designer. So I will show you that in the demo. We can easily integrate with all the REST services, like with the blockchain, but also with our COZMO. So we can make service endpoints and talk to that. And if you really want, it's built on Jet, so you can also do standard JavaScript and HTML to make your UI. So why we choose this? Now again, so it's we can click in this, right? Because based on time, it's we want to just have somebody from the business making the UI or UX or something like that. Because the RESTful connections, we can also create loosely coupled connections. So between the services and the data objects. And as this is like separate from each other, so the logic and the data and the connections are separate, we can reuse them over multiple screens and also multiple projects. So what I said, that's a user-friendly designer. We'll see that in a moment. And it's a little bit now to have an integrated demo on Oracle Cloud. We will show you this with Visual Bit. Last thing is a new thing. That's the Oracle Cloud API Gateway. It's on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. It's a different one than API Platform. So this is really if you go to OCI and want to have functions, or you have something running on containers and you want to expose it to some nice security policies, and you want to have separation of the endpoints available, so you don't want to put the function directly to the public internet. You can use this product, and with this we can enforce a little bit finer progression policies. We can define alternative authorization. We can configure cores, and we can also do throttling of transactions and all those things. Same policies that we've seen with API Platform, a little bit more lightweight. But if you're interested in this, I would say check out the blog post from Lucas Jellema. He wrote a few already about this project, and I think it's really interesting to look at. And it also, with this, we can monitor the health and the performance of the calls between our IoT devices and the cloud, and also log the details from the traffic and things that come in. So on multiple points, we can have somebody from the DevOps team look at this and see if everything, or if all the operations are still going correctly. So let's look at our solution in action. So here, Visual Builder is our main hub for the business to use, and with this we can control COZMO. And COZMO will pick up the part we say to him, pick this up, we need this, and then from Visual Builder there is a call to the blockchain cloud service. And from there is also a call to autonomous database in the warehouse to sync up some of the information. So if we go look at this D-check, so this is COZMO again. So I hope COZMO is not mad today. So he's not going to do this, but we'll see. So I try to switch a little bit about my view. I need to share you something else. So I'm gonna share. I need to check. Let me check. This one. Oh, yeah. Gonna share this. Okay. Yeah. And wait, guys, this is like, let me go, okay, close, let me go here, where am I? See, guys, something, show all, here you are, sure, okay, guys, so, okay, I hope you see this again. Yes. So let's look at some of the things I have here. Okay. So let's look at Visual Builder. And Visual Builder is what you see here. Okay, the main start. And then I'll go to all the things. Let's go to the designer. So this is the designer of Visual Builder. It's loading, but at the left side, there's some interesting things. So with this, we have a drag and drop. So if I have components, you can change information. I can change the width, the height, all the elements, and all, to change items here. And then on the left side, you see a lot of components you can drag and drop and change the UI. So this is our UI. We created. It's a simple thing where we can do three actions to COZMO. But we see that running in a moment. With Visual Builder, what it said is that you can define service endpoints. So we see here a few ones where I have the service information where you can see the URL it talks to. You can give it a name and a description. You can define endpoints. You can create extra endpoints, like we have a post call to /say. You can define authentication, define the headers, transformation data. So we have a few, all the IP addresses are all the things to COZMO. And we have one to blockchain cloud service, which you see that I have two endpoints, one for an invocation and one to do a query. They are both used on the screen, and it also defines authentication. You can do a lot of things. I'm now using basic, but you can also do cloud accounts, OAuth, all those things. So this is service endpoints. Then the UI, how to interact with them on, for example, a button. You can define events. So here at the right side where my mouse is, you see events in the tab. And you can define events, click events. And for example, I have here action for COZMO to say something. And what you can define here is actions for to start, something to do. Now it calls an endpoint. You can select the endpoint. You can do parameter mapping. So for example, here I have a body selected, but with a variable that it takes the information from the page. So everything I type on the page, let me go back. On the page here, in the text field, is something what is sent back. And we have some things to talk to COZMO, and it will also do the blockchain, because it has multiple actions. So you can make a layered process within Visual Builder to same a little bit as an orchestration in the integration section of Integration Cloud. Visual Builder is part of Integration Cloud. So if you have the Integration Cloud, then you also have availability to Visual Builder. Now, so this is a little bit how you can click through, how you can add items, things like that. You can also view the code if you want, change the codes immediately here, or look at the live view, how it is. Now, besides that, I want to also show you our blockchain. So we have a network, and the network here consists of 3 organizations. So the main one is flight services. They are our airline for in this case. And then we have Schiphol, which is the hangar, the storage hangar. And we also have Rolls-Royce, because they are one of the manufacturers of the for example, for the front engine. So in this case, with the 787, I can have a really big blockchain network of all the participants there. Within blockchain cloud service, in this interface, so this is if you provision a blockchain instance, you have nice views about your dashboard. You can see how many peers there are, what smart contracts are deployed, how your blockchain is doing, what activity is there, and also look at the network. So in our network, we have these 3 organizations, and it's easy and nice that you can switch between views. So here we can also view everything connected. So we see that all the 3 parties can talk to each other, and also we see that all the organizations each have 2 peer nodes. But all the organizations are high available. So what if one peer, for example, of Schiphol goes down, we can still interact with them, and they can still also query the blockchain. So here you can play a little bit with if it's just a read-only participant, it maybe just needs 1 peer. So in this view, in this dashboard, you can also look at what nodes are there. So on which URLs they are running. We have the console itself, you see right now, peer nodes, an orderer, which is does the consensus of all the transactions, a certificate authority, and REST proxies. So when you deploy something as a smart contract, what I showed you a little bit in the picture is you also have REST proxies to expose it to the outside world. An important thing within Hyperledger and also in blockchain platform is the use of channels. So you define channels within the blockchain platform when you can say these organizations can talk to each other, they can exchange information, and you can have a network of 10 participants, but only say these 3 are part of this channel and these 7 are part of this channel, and we have a channel that everybody participates to. So here I have a channel called COZMO, where you see information like transactions. You can see which peers of this organization is joined. You can see which organizations are there and which rights they have. So it's something here they use all the operational APIs. So if you, for example, would be a developer and want to know what's happening and want to maybe have your own management UI, you can make that because you can look at what kind of calls are done in the background. You can also put in some policies, but to go really into this, we will go into really in depth into the software itself, and also some access control lists kind of things you can access. So maybe you can only get some information if you are a reader and a writer, and if you are just a reader, you can't do things. So you can change information here to the policies. Within a channel, we see that we have some peers, and if you, for example, create a new channel, you see the same thing happening. So, for example, here we can say we have a test net, and you can select, okay, these users are involved, but only Rolls-Royce is a reader. And for this organization, we can say we want to add only peer 0 to this channel, and then you can submit the channel. I will not do this, as then I have a testnet I can't remove. Channels you create on the blockchain. This means that you can't remove channels once you create them. You can only edit policies, but you can't remove a channel from the blockchain, from the ledger itself. So if we look at, besides channels, the most important thing to interact with the data and to put in data on the ledger, you need chain code. And chain code is like the word for, it's the smart contract. So the chain code, at the same interface here, but here you can see that we have a chain code cost trace. We have just one version. And it's installed on 2 peers, and it's installed on 1 channel. Here in this UI, you can easily deploy new chain code in 2 ways: a quick deployment and advanced deployment. And with the advanced deployment, it's really a step-by-step way. So if you do this the first time, I would advise check the advanced one. If you already done this before, it's repetition, use the other one. Here you fill in a name, you can fill in a version, like say cost trace. You can say this is version 2, the peers it's active, and then you can upload the chain code. And upload the chain code is done by a zip file. And chain code is can be written in Go, Node.js, but it's I will show you in a moment. But you upload, you create, you have the smart contract. This is in Go. You have it's in a folder, and you can zip this folder and then select the folder to upload. I found it always handy to just have always the same name everywhere, and to not get confused if something does not work with calling a smart contract. And then in this case, you can click on next, and then it will install. And after that, you can initiate it. If I, for example, show you the quick deploy, you have the chain code name, the version, things like that, and also on which REST proxy you want to enable it. So this is a quick way how to do it. So if you have a version, you can instantiate it on a channel. If you or you can instantiate it on multiple channels if you would have that. So here, for example, it's already instantiated on COZMO, but not on default. So I would do it on default. When you instantiate chain code, you can select which peers you want to put it on. And the most important one is the endorsement policy. So if you have a channel where you, for example, have 3 participants, you can add the identities that need to check or execute the chain code to know if the transaction, what you want to do, or the action you want to do on the smart contract is valid. So in this case, we only have flight services there. Default, the other 2 are not joined. But if you want to, for example, have multiple ones, you can also select how many of the organizations need to sign. It's always best to have more than half as a organization that needs to endorse the transaction. So if you have 3 organizations, then here you need, best is to say 2 of 3 need to endorse the transaction. If you have, for example, 5, then you need to say 3 of 5. If you have 7, then you can say 4 of 7. Need to do this. Then you have like the majority of the network. But if you really want to have it strict, you can also say 7 of 7. But if you want to test something, you can put it on one of X organizations. Other 2 interesting things for initiating data is that you can make smart contracts with constants, just a constant variable, maybe something per channel that you want to change. You can use transition map to create sort of environment variables. Other thing what you can do is private data collections. This is an interesting concept. So if you have a channel with 5 organizations, and it's talking about trade orders and pricing and things like that, what you can do is create private data collections, for example, between the manufacturer and the store, and then it creates like a side chain. And all the organizations within the main chain know that something has happened. But in this case, you can do but the private data is only visible for the for the organizations that are have access to the private collection. So that's an interesting thing if you want to have some information secret from all the organizations in the same channel. You can do that with private collections. Yeah, so that's a little bit about the blockchain platform. I have 2 other organizations. This is the founder, which has also the ordiner servers and some more things they can do. But we also have the participating organizations, so which has the same UI, just a little bit like here the summary is a little bit more simple. Okay, you need to sign in. Good. No problem. Interesting. And we also have this one. See, we have a more simpler version than you see here on the dashboard, but the functionality is mostly the same. Okay, so let's look at. I need to switch something. Hopefully, this works. Yeah. Okay, so that's me. Hopefully, my camera doesn't work. Okay. Are you still here or not?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, because my things are like blocked. Doesn't matter. We go like this. So what you see is that I can continue with. Let's go to Meetup. M60T. Okay. And my love. Wait. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. So here you can see my camera. I set up a camera. This is COZMO, and with his spare parts. And next to that, you can see what happens in on the cloud in a moment. And I also have in Visual Builder. I will start my application. So this is the application itself, and what you see on the left side. What I can do is I need to connect my phone, and I need to a little bit wake up COZMO. So COZMO comes with me, and I will wake up COZMO a little bit. Okay. Yep. This takes a little bit of preparation because COZMO is awake. Yep, COZMO is awake. Yep. Okay. It's a little bit interesting things. Yours is interesting. 3366197871. So what I try to do is connect to COZMO. So you see COZMO has a little bit live mode on. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully COZMO is awake. See. COZMO, please wake up. Yeah, so COZMO is waking up. So when now COZMO is listening to me, I can do a few things. So what I have running is one thing is I built a tunnel from the cloud to COZMO, and I use NGRock for this. I set up a custom domain for myself so I don't have to change constantly in Visual Builder the endpoint. Because the endpoint here is dcheck COZMO, which is can be found back in the service base URL. Now, so what we can do here is like this is running, and I have a little bit of a Python script that I can run. And the Python script is just the SDK to talk to COZMO. And what we see here is we can speak to COZMO, hopefully, COZMO. Okay, so a few things to note. You need to use iTunes on Windows. Okay, come on. Let's come on. Let's. Okay. Let's come on. So you see that it's not connected to any iOS device. You can see here, so I have an app running. You can see it, but I have an app running, and I think it recognizes it. Yeah. So in this case, I'm gonna remove it. Yeah, it's connected. So now I can restart a little bit my the application itself, and I can say COZMO speak. So this is the text that's sent in here. So if I change it here and I say hello everybody, welcome to this webcast. I can do that again. Hello everybody, welcome to this webcast. So you see that here Visual Builder is used in conjunction with the service endpoint. It's talking through the tunnel with using the SDK to COZMO. So the next thing, of course, is the track and trace of everything. So for this, we have some small difficulties with connection keeping. So if it's connected, what I will do is put COZMO a little bit behind, and then say to COZMO, pick up the spare part. Yeah. And see the view of COZMO? So COZMO identifies this block. I tap on the block. It picks up the block. So now you see information on the screen change. Before X it was 0, and this is the new X and Y coordinates, right? So it now picked it up, and now it's gonna, I can move it again. So in this case, what I can do is the following step. To show you what happens on the blockchain, so I can go to any of this of the organizations, go to my channel, go to COZMO, and see that now there's a new transaction, and it calls the smart contract on this function with this data. And it records this on the blockchain. If you query the object, you'll find a different object for this. So 0, 0, you have some zeros and the end state. So if I talk to COZMO again, hopefully COZMO don't do strange things. Okay. Okay. COZMO drops it. And now you see again the before and after change. And it dropped it off now at for example, the storage facility. It picked it up and it dropped it at a different place. So here again, now this was the transaction here. Like this was 5 transactions on 7 blocks. If I go to a different organization, like Rolls-Royce, for example, and go to the same view, go to COZMO, you see that now I also have a different one, right? 1 minute later, which has the old and the new versions again. So now I changed the information on the records on the blockchain, and what you see on screen is only the last one that's there. It's queries that from the blockchain. So you can do an invocation on the smart contract code, but you can also do queries. Invocations, they take transactions and need to be endorsed by everybody. A query is just reading from the local key value database that Sanae told about. So we have a ledger and we have a key value database, and the key value database holds the latest state of all the transactions that are played on the blockchain. So yeah, this is like the live demo. COZMO worked a little bit, and what else things you can do with the blockchain cloud service itself is that you can also couple it to autonomous data warehouse. I also have done that. What you can do is you can create a data warehouse, and then you upload the wallet of the data warehouse itself. And then when you create a channel, you can, when you create a channel, you can configure also the rich history. So you can have the history with objects there. So if you, because if you want to query the ledger itself, so not with like out of the local state, but you want to have consensus of everybody, give me the current object, then it's a slow process. And if you don't handle correctly with specific keys, or you want to have just much more quicker and advanced analytics and graphs of all the data, you can use autonomous data warehouse to have the rich history. And you can also change things. So I can change the rights of Rolls-Royce, for example. So it's only a reader. They can't execute any things on the smart contract itself. What you have with the final thing is in the platform is that with REST proxies you can expose chain codes. Here with the configuration you can say, okay, I have this smart contract and it will be like available on a specific on a specific peer who wants to. So you can do load balancing also on the REST proxies. You have 4 REST proxies, so you can also say these smart contracts are only available to this REST proxy. So you can do some separations of concern or some intelligent load balancing or use of your resources. So for this, all the things, was said. It uses Hyperledger. So everything that's added there. Oracle is also investing a lot in there. So if there's updates done by the community, by the big vendors, it will also get back into the blockchain cloud service because it uses the open source version. So I think that's a good thing. You can also go for the open source version itself, but all the management that I showed you now, you need to do that with or CLI or scripting or something like that. And here I can do it with just a few clicks. So that concludes the demo. let's go back a little bit. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully you see again my screen. Yeah. Yeah, if there's any questions later, you can always find me on LinkedIn or Twitter, or send me an email on robert.van.mölken@amis.nl, or just on Twitter, or things like that. So if you have any questions, I don't know if there are any, there were any questions. No, not really. So let's get then to the last thing. So this was hosted by the Oracle Developer Meetup group, specifically the one from that Sanae organizes in France. And you can go and join if you want to have multiple webinars in the future. Yeah, and you can also follow her on Twitter and on YouTube. So in that case, I want to thank everybody for this, for being here. And if you're watching this later, thank you for watching this video. And I would say, have yourself a very good day. And hopefully meet you sometime in the future in real life. Thank you very much.
Thank you.